Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I'm your host, Charles. Along with me, as always, my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, and gunner, Jacob Gloth. How you doing today, Jacob?
I'm well. I've got an interesting conundrum for you, Charles.
Oh, what would that be?
So you've done this to me multiple times, but I have never done it to you before. I have two pitches. I don't know which one to go with.
Oh.
I wrote one last night, and I wrote one this morning.
Ooh.
The one I wrote this morning was the product of a dream that I had, and I thought this would be a great pitch.
Yeah. All right.
So I got two for you.
Oh,
Both are not, neither are particularly spectacular. So
that's always a good way to start.
I gotta underpitch it so you like
Underhand.
it. Your choices are average intelligence and the wind that shakes the tumbleweeds.
That's a really good title. I really like.
I kind of stole it.
Oh, yeah, it's fun.
Well, there's a famous movie with Cillian Murphy called the wind that shakes the barley.
Oh, okay.
I switched it to tumbleweed.
My favorite title that I've come up with for this show, for this podcast, I also stole, so I can't really get mad at you. If anyone's wondering, my favorite title.
I know what it is. It's Splatterpunk.
No, I did. It's not that.
Damn.
That's
my favorite title.
It's a good title, but it's Beyond Reason.
Oh yeah, I stole that from you.
Yeah.
You stole that, and then I stole it.
I stole it from like an old movie, and then it was for your show. But I still think it's a great title.
I take it back. That is my favorite title we have.
Yeah, but
And that title is not even from our podcasting days.
No.
So that predates all this. It's a good title though.
It's a solid title. But I want to hear about the wind that shakes the tumbleweeds.
Okay. This is the one that that was the dream. So I don't know how good it is because it was a great dream. I was thrilled through this dream.
Yeah.
But
having a blast.
Let's see how it actually turns out. So it's a Western story. That's why it's tumbleweeds.
Yeah. I figured.
And
I figured it was either a Western or it was a space Western.
It was originally a space Western, which I changed to a normal Western a few minutes ago. Because I was like, I don't know, I can't do it. It didn't really fit together.
Yeah.
I feel like I was shoehorning in the space part.
Yeah. And if it were a space Western, we'd have to change tumbleweeds to something else, like a Frumblesneed. That's what it is in space.
Yeah, the title I also came up with about 30 seconds ago.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I come up with most of my pitches just off the top of my head.
In my defense, I had a full pitch already written, and I wrote this morning. Okay, so it's not like I'm unprepared. It's just that I got something better.
Yeah. Well, I want to hear about tumbleweeds and Cillian Murphy and sand.
Cillian Murphy's not in this. I mean, he couldn't be actually because the main character is a girl.
He could play
unless
a horse.
He's played a girl before. So
yeah. How about we cast Cillian Murphy as a horse? And we get him to play a horse. There.
Yeah. I mean, I'd put Cillian Murphy in this because I like Cillian Murphy. But anyway, Old West, USA. We follow a gang, as we always do, because who else would you follow?
Exactly.
It's an outlaw gang. Our main protagonist, her name is Nolly, or Noll for short. Nolly's in her 20s, but she's reached the part of her career as an outlaw where she's a senior gun.
Yeah.
She's experienced, but she's still young and quick.
Strong.
So she's in her prime, essentially, is that she's the best around.
Yeah.
She's angry, a very angry and wrathful person, but very reserved with it. So she can control and suppress her anger, and then, when she's allowed to cut loose, it really shows that she's got all this pent-up aggression.
Yeah.
She's tough but careful. So despite her abilities, she usually takes the cautious routes because she knows it's more intelligent to do that. And she's very humble when it comes to intelligence as well because she recognizes, she never went to school. She's been an outlaw since she was very young, probably around like 12 or so. So she knows she's not as smart as everyone else, but she is quite intelligent. So
yeah,
very humble person.
Maybe she underestimates her intelligence.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say.
Versus, everybody else in the gang who thinks they're smart. But she knows that she's not. You know what Socrates said. The first step to true knowledge is admitting that you know nothing. Right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what Socrates said. Almost pretty similar.
Yeah, and then people steal that all the time. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson? There we go. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Couldn't remember his name. He said that too, and everyone was like, wow, he's so cool. What a smart quote. And I'm like, pretty sure he nicked that.
Nicked that from somebody. I can't remember his name. Socratic thought process, I feel.
Yep. Something like that.
Yeah, all right.
Anyway, Null, as I said, she's extremely deadly. She's the kind of person who carries a cycle rifle, which I didn't really explain what that is. I just said cycle rifle. I assume it's just like a repeater or bolt action rifle. I like the word cycle though, so I put that in.
Maybe it's got a crank.
Because it cycles, I guess that's a repeater.
But
I sort of pictured like a long rifle with a big long scope. So sort of like a sniper, but she can use it in close range, and she has a revolver because it's the Old West, so you have to be able to. Yeah, you have to be prepared for duels and stuff.
Maybe she's got a revolver, because I'm imagining her as having. Could she also have a shortened cycle rifle? That's what I'm thinking. Like something that she can do the repeater, like what's his name? Arnold did in Terminator 2.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So I always want to do that.
Maybe she picks that up later, because that would fit later when they're on the run.
Yeah.
Ooh, spoilers.
Wait, somebody in this Old West outlaw story is going on the run?
Well, we'll see. But the image I picture in my head is like the rifle slung over one shoulder, like you have a backpack on, but you're one strapping it. And, then the pistol in her holster.
Yeah. Does she have the side holster?
Side holster?
Does she have a side holster or like a front holster?
No, I don't really get front holsters, so obviously a side holster.
Yeah, all right.
Maybe one of the other characters can have a front holster because, I don't know, in every outlaw movie, the front holster never works out. It's always the side holster.
We could have two back holsters.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, like in that Assassin's Creed game where you're on a pirate ship and you're a pirate, he has two holsters on his back and he pulls out two guns. I always like that.
That's true.
We said holster a lot.
That does look cool. Maybe Mother can have that. That's another character. Anyway, Nal, this is the last fact about her. Yeah. She's the person that cracks the safe. That's her job. She's the one that goes in, either cracks it or blows it up, and then takes the money out.
Yeah.
Then we have Mother, who's the leader of the group. Her name is simply Mother, and that's what she's referred to. Maybe later in the series we can reveal her actual name, but
we have
Mother is her name for now.
We have some older person who knew Mother when she was a young waif, and she could be like, Sally, no!
It'll be like, Sally? It's a shit name.
Yeah, and then they shoot her. Sally's bad name. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, bang, bang.
Maybe. Probably not. Maybe the Sally part, but definitely not the shooter part.
Yeah, probably not.
Because I need her for later.
Yeah, don't kill one of the main characters for no good reason.
Yeah. Okay, so Mother, she's a lot older than everyone else. Probably in her 50s. Very angry person. Intelligent, but she's flamboyant and very preachy as well. So she's very outspoken about how smart she is. She wears colorful clothing, and she's very wrathful at the slightest thing. You upset her, she'll yell at you.
Yeah. The slightest insinuation that she's not the smartest person in the room, she will get angry at. That's kind of what I'm picking up. Maybe she can constantly be quoting, or not constantly, but occasionally quote like old revolutionaries, like Marx and stuff. But she gets a few words wrong, or she like changes the words.
She spins around the words so it makes sense for what she's saying.
Yeah, she's changing up like she'll quote Che Guevara and everybody will be like, that guy's not been born yet. We're like, What do you know?
Whatever. That works because she can. I have her down as like when they're doing robbery, she does crowd control. But her method of crowd control is not really yelling at people and shooting. Mm-hmm. It's like getting all preachy.
Yeah.
And so she's like, explaining to them why they need to be robbed and stuffed. For like, greater reasons. But it's all bullshit because she just wants to rob them. She's
telling them about the horrors of the military-industrial complex. And like how this is it's a good thing that we're taking your money because it's unshackling you from the materialism of modern society. But it's all like cowboy time, so everybody's like, I own 3 things. Please don't take them. Yeah. I just watched Fight Club. That might have been in the intro section. I don't know, but I'm imagining her talking like how Tyler Durden talks, because he's got throughout the movie, he's talking and he's like putting all these really smart, interesting ideas. He's not actually saying them. He's just like saying like buzzwords. It's like, oh, I have freed you from your materialist, capitalist nightmare hellscape, and with us we shall ascend to a higher plane of understanding through which mankind... And it's like, oh, okay, I get it, So I imagine that she's kind of like that she's very, very much... She believes in what she's saying, but she doesn't actually really get it,
Mm-hmm. Maybe she... See... The spin I'm trying to have is that she doesn't really believe in it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, while she has all these ideas, they're like, maybe she sort of likes the idea, but she never actually will go out and try to execute them. She
likes
thoughts.
The concept of communism and socialism, but she will never give something to somebody for free. That's kind of Is that kind of similar?
I think it's like she wants the facade of it. She wants the facade of people thinking she's like this revolutionary figure. Mm-hmm. But in reality, she's a very selfish person who's just out to rob people and take their money.
Yeah, all right, cool.
So that's Mother.
Yeah.
That was good. We sort of figured her character out a little bit there. Anyway, we have Sandy next. Sandy is kind and talkative. Been friends with Nolly since... they were little. Sandy's in her 30s and Nolly's in her 20s, so they had sort of a older sister, maybe like almost motherly relationship, but more closer to older sister because they weren't too far apart in age, probably about like 8 years or so. But it was very clear that Sandy helps Nolly grow up and become who she is. Mm-hmm. Sandy and Nolly are like partners, so when Nolly goes in the back to crack the safe, Sandy's the person that's like watching the door or like holding the bank teller and punching him, saying like, hey, give us the combination and stuff like that. And she has a 6-year-old, maybe 8 years old. We'll have to decide the age because I need something that seems rational for later.
Yeah.
Named Bowie. We call Bo for short.
Oh, yeah. I like it.
Mm-hmm. We don't really explain who the father is, but it's, just sort of insinuated that it's someone that's dead.
Mm-hmm.
And then our last member of our little family here is Broof. Broof is the newest member of the gang. He's quiet, but very violent.
Oh, no. Maybe Broof? Was it Broof?
Broof.
Broof.
B-R-O-O-F.
Maybe Broof can have a Bowie knife. And he can he can pick on Bo occasionally.
That works.
Yeah. You could be like, oh, did your daddy invent this knife? And then
he's like, actually, yes.
Yeah. And then
my dad was David Bowie.
David Bowie, inventor of the Bowie knife. Famous American. Bowie knives are classically American. We all know that.
Mm-hmm. He liked my mother, Sandy, because of her mousy hair.
Yeah. Yeah, and that could lead to some tension that, like, he doesn't talk very much, Brute, but he's, he's quiet and he's cruel,
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're gonna get right into the tension soon.
Like tension.
So I have pilot written down here, but this is not the pilot episode. The first 2 episodes are gonna have to be like classic robberies.
Yeah. Train.
Just to sort of get the feel of the group.
Yeah.
And through this, it's clear that their time is running out. Mm-hmm. They're getting slower. Or not, they're not getting slower, but the law is catching up with them a lot quicker. The law is getting better.
Yeah.
They're dealing with interstate law bodies that are traveling to catch them.
Yeah, the Pinkertons, the FBI, those sort of people. The FBI wasn't around, but you know what I mean.
No, they weren't, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Texas Rangers or something, I don't know.
Maybe they're getting more famous, like their crew. What's the crew's name?
I was just gonna go with like Mother's Gang or something.
That's what yeah, Mother's Gang can get like some international publicity or national publicity.
Yeah.
Because they did a rob.
Oh, okay, so in the first episode, maybe we can have them rob a train or a bank or something.
Yeah, and they steal something really valuable.
Mm-hmm. Or they mess with someone that's extremely important.
Yeah.
Like Rockefeller or something. They stole oil.
Oh, that would be good.
Can you imagine cowboys running with oil?
That would be fun, though. What if they blow up a train that's carrying oil? That could be fun.
Oh, maybe like as they escape, they blow up the oil, and then they learn like that's way more valuable than whatever they had. Mm-hmm. I don't know if Rockefeller fits the time period or not, but
he was 18 somethings.
Yeah, he might be a little later than this, but. Doesn't matter.
We could just think we can make up some fake
some other oil tycoon.
Yeah.
The Jimmy Rich.
Jimmy Rich.
Mm-hmm.
My name's Jimmy Rich, and I'm a oil baron in these parts. Yeah.
That's exactly what he sounds like. You should play him. That's who you're playing.
There you go. We can get him.
Jimmy Rich.
I'm gonna make him talk like George H.W. Bush.
That works.
I think it'd be funny.
All right, so the climactic episode, episode 3, or whatever, where the real story kicks in, is a seemingly simple robbery in Shriek, that's the name of the town, leads them to get all separated after the cops show up very quickly.
Yeah.
So kind of
suspiciously quick.
Like that one Tarantino movie.
Reservoir Dogs?
Reservoir Dogs, yeah. The cops show up really quick, and everyone's like, whoa, that's weird. They shouldn't have shown up that quick.
Yeah.
So they all get separated, run away, and people get shot and stuff.
Yeah, somebody's bleeding out in the back of a horse.
Yeah. It seems like in the robbery that Proof is shot a bunch. Mm-hmm. So Nolly escapes through some old mines near the bank.
Yeah.
And they're all confusing, and we have a nice scene where she's like running through, and she can hear lawmen in the tunnels as well. But it's so confusing that they all get lost, and eventually Nolly figures her way out.
Maybe she kicks down a support timber. When she's running through the mine shaft, and she's like, if I kick down the support timber, it might, crush me and kill me. But if I don't, these guys are definitely going to catch me. So she kicks it down and like starts running. We could have a fun mine cart scene. Because,
Or she hops in a mine cart, and then she's riding past lawmen, and she shoots them as she's in the mine cart, and they start shooting her, but she ducks inside. It's like ping, pang, ping, as she's riding.
Yeah, and one bullet goes through the metal, but it goes right past her face.
And she looks out the little hole, and she's like, "Oh God!"
Yeah,
see it on her face.
And then the mine cart flies out because it's attached to this bridge, but the bridge isn't finished. It flies out of the mine, and she lands in a river, and swims out. And she's still got she's got 2 gold bars. That's what she's got on her.
Yeah, she barely got some of it out. Maybe she loses some of the loot along the way.
Yeah.
But she kept some. So she escapes, and she meets up with the crew. So Mother and Sandy got out, but Roof isn't there. Mm-hmm. And everyone's freaking out. Mother's screaming at them because she's all upset because, she thinks that one of them told the cops or someone told the cops. And she seems really upset at Null and Sandy for something that just doesn't make sense. She's like, how did you get out of there? That's crazy and stuff like that. And they were both confused because they were like, we didn't see you, in the bank. Where did you go? What happened after we went into the back? I didn't see you when we came out. She's like, I had to run. The cops were there. A little confusing, but they all go to bed. And in the middle of the night, Null wakes up to the sound of strangling. And she sees Broof murder Sandy.
Oh my god, like straight up just
like strangling her with a wire or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so Null is like, freaks out, throws like a knife at him, grabs Bowie and runs into the night.
Yeah.
Grabs her horse, rides away.
Maybe Bowie can be their getaway driver. Because I think that'd be funny.
Bowie's like 8 years old.
Exactly. And they've got a cart, like a horse and carriage, but sitting outside in front of the bank, and it's being driven by Bowie. And then that's one way that Sandy can get out, because Null can like duck underneath, go through the vault, and there's actually a secret door in the vault that leads to the mine, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then Sandy can climb up onto the roof. Bowie goes around the side of the building. She jumps onto the back of the cart, and they drive away. And then Mother and Broof, their escapes are a little bit more mysterious, but we can see Sandy and Null's, right?
Maybe Bowie's not involved, but it's Sandy that's driving the cart.
Mm-hmm.
Because they escape together. Because I don't want Bowie to be in the action.
Okay, yeah.
Bowie like sticks at camp.
Sandy's too good of a mother to put Bowie in the front lines.
Yeah. Bowie's not experienced with he doesn't really know what they do.
Mm-hmm.
He's not really accustomed to their
yeah.
lifestyle. He just hangs out at the camp and plays. He's a young child. He's not going to get involved in the violence.
This has just crossed my mind. Is this an almost all-female outlaw gang? Because Sandy, Mull...
Well, Broof's there.
Broof, it strikes me as a relatively new hire,
Yeah.
And I think they need a cook.
Yeah.
I think they need one person who is always in camp and is their cook.
Well, then he needs to die.
We can have, like, an old man.
He's gonna die.
Yeah.
Sure, you can be. And then maybe there's a cook. His name's Gordon.
Ezekiel Gordon.
Ezekiel the cook.
Yeah.
And
he takes care of
he's
Bowie.
French.
Yeah.
And he takes care of Bowie and hangs out at the camp.
And then when Sandy gets strangled,
maybe the cook holds off Broof.
Yeah.
While Null gets away with Bowie, and the cook gets killed by Broof as well.
Yeah. That can work. That works.
That works.
And I'd be like, man, I miss Ezekiel's chili. Ezekiel had the best chili.
He did. Okay, I'm cool with that. And so Null is now on the run with Bowie. Mm-hmm. Her life's in tatters. Her friend's dead. Her gang is destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
And
maybe we can imply that there's a little bit more than just friendship between Sandy and Null.
I had them with a family relationship, so I'm not really cool with
okay, fair enough.
Making it romantic. Yeah.
Maybe as they're riding away, Bowie and Mull get to like a faraway distance. They set up camp. Mull's like, I'll take watch. Mm-hmm. She stays up all night watching, and then they go into town and like get breakfast. And this is maybe like the first time in a very long time Bowie's eaten a meal that hasn't been made by Ezekiel in the woods. Yeah. So he's like loving it. He's having French toast, and he's like, oh my god, this is amazing. What did the French do to their toast? And like Mull is just trying to figure out like maybe she can think that Mother is dead. Like she's just assuming that Broof murdered Mother, and they were the only two to get away, and that Broof was some sort of schemer.
Yeah, that works perfectly with what I got so far.
Yeah.
So while they're in this cafe or whatever eating breakfast, that's when Mother shows up outside with Broof and a bunch of lawmen, and they tell Null to get out and Bowie to come with. And Null's like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And it becomes clear in the conversation that Mother gave them up for immunity. Broof and Mother are working together to get immunity with the lawmen, and all they have to do is turn in Sandy, Ezekiel, Nolly, and Bowie. Mm-hmm. Bowie somehow is involved as well.
He's got the price on his head.
It's like old Western times. They probably have some
Yeah.
superstition that because he's got outlaw blood in him, he's a bad kid.
Yeah, or he's you know, he's a wild boy. He's been living out in the woods for a long time. Or maybe Broof can be like, or not Broof, maybe Bowie can be like not just a white guy. Maybe he's like half Native American. And so they could be, you could throw a little bit of like, oh, they don't like him.
A little racism in there. Okay.
It's just a little touch of racism because, you know, that's what the Wild West was about. They were doing that all day long.
So Nolly and Bowie are inside the cafe.
Mm-hmm.
They got to get out. Mm-hmm. So they run out the back door and they escape through the mines. So they're, you know, this big shootout.
Yeah.
Nol's shooting guys left and right. This is where, you know, you get to really see how great Nol is.
Yeah.
As a fighter. She's just taking out lawmen left and right.
I'm imagining she's like got 2 pistols in her hand and she's like, you know, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, just bang, 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 and she's like getting away. Maybe Bowie's on her back, you know, because she's like, don't look. He's
just holding on. She's got the rifle in one hand, just holding her arm out, like fully stretched, shooting this huge rifle with one hand.
Yeah.
And then the other hand, she's got the pistol, so she's like firing the rifle, shooting the pistol.
Yeah.
And running away.
And she can like...
She doesn't have 2 pistols.
She's smart, you know, so she's like, well, if I shoot near that horse, it'll freak the horse out and it'll jump and kick the guy behind it and knock over something. Yeah. So it could be like she's not just killing people with her gun, she's like using them as
doing
tools.
Smart things, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I have her down as like shooting an explosive that blows open a hole in the ground to where the mine is. Mm-hmm. And she learns this earlier because she sees like a corner that has a bunch of TNT in it.
Yeah.
In one of the corners of the mine.
And she can maybe...
But now she gets to use it because she's like, it looks vaguely familiar because she came out near there, so she thinks that's the corner, and so she shoots, like through the wall, and it blows up the TNT behind it.
Yeah.
Because it's a very thin wall, and she escapes into the mine with Bowie. Mm-hmm. And that's how they get away from the laws. They lose them in the mine, then escape out another side.
And then
steal a horse and ride off into the sunset. Yeah. Old West style.
That'd be fun. And then Bowie could be like, maybe Bowie has like a lamp or like a lighter or matches on him. Because I think...
Oh, so he can hold the light as they walk. Because then he has a purpose. He's not just a backpack.
Exactly. Because I think that's one problem with kids in old Western stories. They just are just like, oh God, this guy's in the way, isn't he? So we should give Bowie maybe Bowie, since he spent so much time with Ezekiel, who was like he was like a war cook. So maybe he knows like, oh, this plant is poisonous, and this plant isn't poisonous. So he's like he knows a little bit more about nature than you'd think, so he could be a bit more helpful on the journey. I'm assuming they're going to be spending at least a few nights outside.
Most of the series, in fact.
Oh.
They're running away for the entire show. Mm-hmm. That's essentially the show, is her and Bowie living on the run. It's a nice story where you see Bowie, he loses his parent, obviously.
Yeah.
And now he's got like a new one, so Null sort of is acting like as his family figure. Mm-hmm. And this is the first time in Null's life where she's had to act as like a guardian for someone else.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Maybe she's always
been guided by someone else, by Mother or Sandy. So now this is her first time being in charge of someone.
Yeah, and maybe we can flash back to like a little bit of Null's childhood, when I'm assuming she was at least partially raised by Mother, you know?
Yeah.
Because from the show that we have so far, Mother is an extremely unlikable character. So I think we should, do a couple of flashbacks and show like, oh, she was, nice. She was still a thieving murderer. But
when they were younger, yeah.
Yeah, but she was, she was nicer and she treated Null with respect and, being nice and like a mother-like figure to her, hence the name. And then like over the years, she's gotten more bitter as like more friends have died and she's had like to fight harder to earn less, So just the modern world is kind of taking her soul away. And then...
Yeah, exactly. We can have it start off as... The idea I had in my head was that Sandy and Null met when they were very young and started their own little enterprise as outlaws. And it doesn't go well, and they get saved by Mother. And Mother sort of takes them both in and acts as their their guardian and helps them become actual outlaws.
Maybe she busts them out of prison.
So that's how, through the flashbacks, I guess we can make her a nice character.
Yeah, but like it would be cool if they, Sandy and Null were like robbers, you know, doing the outlaws thing when they were like 15 or whatever. And they both end up in jail, like in the county jail, and they're about to go to court and receive their sentences. But Mother just so happens to be springing a friend of hers from that jail that very night, so she can save the Null and Sandy, right? And it could be like this random act of kindness that, you know, Null kind of can't get over, right? She's like, well, she did this really nice thing for me once, so she can't be all bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be good. I like the confliction where she can't not like Mother. But she hates Bruce, and one of my episode ideas is she gets to an old ghost town with Bowie, and they're hiding there, and you know, they've been chased by Law, but Bruce is also hunting them alone. And Bruce comes up to the ghost town. We have this cool, like, sneaky fight with Null and Bruce, where she hides, you know, Bowie in like a closet somewhere. It's like, stay here. And they both go around the whole ghost town, Bruce and Nolly, like hunting each other. So we'll see like flashes of scopes in windows, and they're sniping each other and all that stuff. And it'll eventually end with Nolly sneaking up behind Bruce while he's got a sniper in a window waiting for her. And she'll like stab him and say something cool or something.
Yeah. Maybe Bruce, wouldn't it be cool, I think, if Bruce was like, he was sent by the government? Because I'm thinking, like, what if Bruce is a part of the CIA, but he's not, but the CIA isn't around because it's Wild West times? So he's part of like the private detective agency, and he's a mole. Yeah. But
But
maybe he was like, he was a premier interrogator during the Civil War, and like he's one of the people who's like, his barbarity and his cruelty was used by the government during the Civil War, and so he's got like basically free run to do what he likes, and now he's working for the Pinkertons as this sort of like agent who hunts down outlaws but also infiltrates gangs to, you know, do big sting operations. So technically he's like on the right side. He's on the good guy's side, but he's just an absolute monster who like enjoys torturing people. And he can like, maybe he gets really talkative in the ghost town. Because I'm thinking in that silent not a silent shootout, but like Null can be trying to be as quiet as possible. And this is the first time Bruce has really gotten the chance to just be himself. And he's loud, and he's using guns and explosives and, you know, taunting and be like, oh, I'm gonna kill Bowie, I'm gonna, you know, all this sort of stuff. And Null she has to be quiet, and she's like, maybe she can use a bow and arrow for part of it, because you can't hear that. And so she's like, he can't hear my gunshots, he won't know where I'm from. But she's not the best with a bow and arrow, so she wings him or something. She's got to run away, and she's got to use silent methods while he can be as loud and as, you know, dangerous as he wants to be.
Yeah. Just give him a reason so that he can be loud, because I feel like it's a disadvantage for him, right? Being loud, because then she knows where he is.
Yeah.
Maybe he has like 3 or 4 guys with him.
Yeah, that could be good.
Just like a small elite squad, and she has to take them out too.
There's no way in his mind that he could lose this fight, so might as well be. And maybe we could have it so that the ghost town is, like, we could Chekhov's gun. The reason, like, the ghost town is abandoned is because, like, there's a leaking methane, you know, thing underground. I
see, and then she blows it up or something.
Yeah, she could blow up the town. And with, you know, she kills
Bruce. And then maybe more lawmen come in, and then she's running away and she blows up the town.
Yeah, that could be fun.
Quite literally.
Yeah. Boom, boom, boom.
All right. The final showdown. We've got a Red Dead Redemption ending here, which is sad for Nolly.
Yeah.
Which means that there's a final showdown where Nolly holds off an entire platoon, while Bo rides to safety alone.
Where is he going to safety? Maybe he's going to Canada for safety. Maybe that's how she's taking
That's
him.
season 2, Charlie.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, how does he get... I think that they should have, like, a location that they're trying to get to that Null is like, we will be safe here. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And, like, maybe South America or Canada. Because those are kind of the two ones, you know? Because Butch Cassidy go to, like, Venezuela. And there's no U.S. extradition laws, and I think
They're trying to get to Mexico.
Yeah.
Mexico's too... is overused. Maybe they're going to...
Maybe Quebec. Toronto.
Quebec.
Yeah. Maybe Sandy.
Oh, that could be good. They're going to Canada, and it's like they've been going north this whole time.
Yeah.
So we get to see the progression from Old West deserts to like foresty, wintry areas.
Yeah. And then you can do like a cool final showdown with snow, and there's blood on the snow, and you know, all that fun stuff. And maybe we can have like Sandy, maybe there's a letter that Sandy wrote to Bowie before she died, and it was like she gave it, or Null found it in Sandy's bag and like held onto it and was like, I'll give it to Bo when he's ready. And she's like, I'm not gonna get another chance to do this. Your mother wrote this letter to you before she passed, and she wanted to give it to me. She wanted me to give it to you when you were ready, and you're ready, son. And you know, he gets on the boat and starts, you know, going upriver towards the thing as she's like doing the cool final showdown thing, and we can like read that like, oh, Bo's dad isn't dead. You know, he is.
Yeah.
Somewhere, maybe he's in New York or something, and then that could be second season. Is Bo maybe Bo's a bit older, he's been living in Canada for a while, maybe he's a trapper, and he's, you know, traveling to New York to find his father, and his father is J.D. Rockefeller, inventor of the Bowie knife.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's how it worked. That's history.
And you know, season 2 is just Bowie becoming a older person.
Yeah.
And learning to shoot. Maybe coming back for revenge. I don't know. I just wrote that very briefly, but
Maybe Mother survives. Mother,
yeah, she survives.
So maybe the next season.
I was thinking we have a really terrible ending.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible not as in like quality. Terrible as in like it's evil.
Yeah.
Where Null has like killed most of the platoon, but she's all shot up. Mm-hmm. And like, you know, bloody coffin blood. There's, you know, she's like holding wounds, has like one pistol, still fighting, and she gets knocked to the ground. She's like staring up at the sky, and Mother stands over her, and then has some line like,
Yeah.
"You were nothing to me," and then shoots her in the head.
Oh, that would suck.
Something brutal like that,
Yeah.
where you're just like, oh, this is the worst character ever. How could you ruin Null like that?
Yeah.
Like just and have this such a terrible ending.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll make you want revenge so badly.
It'll be good.
So Bowie can grow up and be the hero and get revenge for his mom and his guardian.
We cast Tom Holland as Bowie, older Bowie, and he works as like a.
No, we need someone way more angry than Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Bowie is a product of wrath and horror, so he needs to be somebody that's looks.
Timothy Chalamet.
No.
No. John Cena. Yeah,
I don't know. It needs to be like a it's rough
and tumble, and maybe he's working as he works as like a fur trapper. Ben Affleck. There you go. We cast him. He's playing a 20-year-old Bowie. Ben Affleck, 50-year-old man. Be good. What was the title again? Give us the title one more time.
The Wind That Shakes the Tumbleweeds.
See, I really like that title. Well, I think that's a really good TV show. I'd watch that. I'd watch the heck out of that, and I'd be like, that's pretty cool. It would feel a little cramped if we made it a space western, but it could work, you know.
That's what my dream was, a space western, so I had to cut it.
I mean, just depending on how interested the studios would be in funding a western, which seems pretty cheap, versus funding a space western, which seems really expensive. You know?
Yeah.
Because regular western, you just need to get like cowboy hats and horses, and like the desert. Space Western, you have to get, like, costumes and CGI and spaceships and stuff. It'd be like, ugh.
Yeah.
Such a thing. But yeah, I'd watch the shit out of that. Thank you all for listening to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I've been your host, Charles Lang. With me, as always, has been my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, and gunner, Jacob Cloth. If you like what you heard here and you want to hear more, give us a like, follow, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dog. Comment, tell us what you think. Who do you think should play Bowie in season 2 of this show? And can we, you know what, I just had an idea. What if we had, like, a lot of modern music? Like, this is a very much a Western, but, like, we just have, like, cool modern rap, cool music, not just rap music. We could have some rap music.
Okay, like what?
What's that one Rage Against the Machine song? That one, which is like, justified are those who died, choosing your life or your chosen wife. I can't remember the lyrics, but that one. I don't know. What are some other songs? Modern songs. You could have
I don't know. I don't listen to a lot of modern
Nicki
music.
Nicki Minaj.
I don't think she's that hip and cool anymore.
That's true. The podcast is over. You guys can go if you want. We're just going to be talking about Nicki Minaj.
All right, bye.
Bye. So I watched this Nicki Minaj, right? Cut.
No, we're not actually talking about Nicki Minaj.
All right.